This is my 2014 deck profile for Bujins. It's just a fun sacky deck if you really want to stall your opponent and just give them no options for anything. So, all right, here we go. Of course, you got to have the Yamato. You got to have him at 3. He is he's the key to the deck. You got to just keep him on the field and protect him with anything and everything you can. He's Beast Warrior, so great with Tenki, as well as Bear, because you can get Bear with Tenki. But using him with Susano, Crane, any of that stuff, just to protect him. Basically, have him on the field. It stuns your opponent. Can usually never get over him, or at least they have to go through a lot of cards with him just to get rid of him. So he's the big boss of the deck. Then I run one Arasudo just for the extra Beast Warriors, the extra monsters on the field. Works well with all the other Bujins like Yamato and Mikazuchi. Gets his own effect if, I forgot to mention before, of course, is Yamato's effect. As at the end turn, at the end of your turn, you can search your deck out for a Bujin monster, add it to your hand, but then you have to discard one card from your hand. Generally, you're going to add Crane, or mostly Crane to your hand, but you can add the Beast Warriors too. But a lot of the time, you'll also just grab the card, like Turtle, add it to your hand, and then just ditch it right away. So you have it in the graveyard, so you can use Turtle's effect for when you need it. And of course, Arasudo, his effect is when a Bujin monster is banished from the graveyard, you can special summon them face up in defense mode. So that's kind of nice. He's got the nicer defense, so you can give him a bit of a wall and get combos off for all the Xyz and stuff like that. So that's really nice. Then run 2 Mikazuchi, just because he's a little bit stronger. You can get him out and kind of help stall as well with Yamato, so it's pretty nice. He helps with searching out for the spell cards and trap cards of Bujin monsters. So yeah, he's pretty nice to have. One Arasudo for now, or not Arasudo, Hirmu. Can never pronounce his name right. I'm gonna try to get him at 2, just so I can have more options with him, because he's a really nice card. By banishing any Bujin monster, you can just special summon him out, 2,000 beater. So it's really nice. Especially his effect when he's destroyed, you can discard a card and make your opponent discard a card, so that's kind of nice. Comes in handy quite a bit, especially the 2,000 attack. And then I run 1 Bear, just for that search for Tenki, because it kind of comes in handy having Tenki to search out Yamato when you don't have it and give him that boost. So yeah, that's all for the Beast Warriors for now. Just gonna get these out of the way. Run 2 Hair, so we can protect Yamato as much as possible, or the other Bujin Beast Warriors. I used to run them at 3, but I feel like 2 is plenty, just because, when you have them in the graveyard, your opponent, it definitely stalls your opponent, because they're not really sure if they want to go through, 2 or 3 cards just to get rid of one. So a lot of the times it'll kind of stall them a bit. So that's really nice to have him. But it's really nice because he protects your Beast Warrior, Bujin monster, once per turn from being destroyed by a battle or card effect. So that's really nice, especially with battle. 2 Turtle protects from targeting in the graveyard as well as with Hair. So that's really nice. I do side deck an additional one, just in case for like mirror matches or Constellar stuff that targets a lot. But generally just run 2 of them. 2 Crane. I did bring it down from 3 to 2, just because I do run Sinew also in here, so I figure, 2 should be fine. The additional hand trap is really nice, but, having it at 3 is nice, but, I don't know. I think it gets a little cloggy sometimes, because a lot of the time, your opponent will know you have Crane in your hand. Well, even if they don't, they know it's Bujin, so you most likely do, or they assume so they won't even attack over, so, I don't know. It gets a little cloggy for me anyways, but it's up to you. You can run 3 if you want, but I prefer 2. 2 Sinew. This is honest in the graveyard. It is amazing. One of the best cards that they've came out for Bujin so far. I love it. That's why I brought down Crane to 2, is because I put 2 Sinew in there. Just like with Turtle and Hair, a lot of times it stops your opponent because they know they have that in the graveyard, so they can't really do a whole lot. So you kind of stall them out, and then you can build up and basically go for a big push when you have them in the graveyard. Of course, 1 Honest, that's kind of typical. 2 Veiler, so you can stop your opponent from doing anything, especially with monster effects. That's a big thing in the Bujin deck, is basically just stop your opponent from really doing anything. I mean, as you've kind of seen with all the Bujin stuff I've gone with, and if you've seen other deck profiles, but I really base it heavily along not letting your opponent do anything. I know it's kind of sacky or jerkish, but I don't know. I find it entertaining.
You haven't gotten to spells yet.
I haven't gotten to spells yet. I'm going as fast as I can.
Okay. No, you just more Kaiser all the time.
More Kaiser, yes. Kaiser's amazing. 3 Tenki. Get that search off for Yamato or French fries. For Yamato or the Beast Warriors. I mean, it's kind of typical. 2 Kaiser. I did have it at 3, but I just wanted to add some other cards, so I took 1 out. I'm thinking about just putting it at 1, but I don't know. I kind of like it at 2 just because then I have more chance to draw it. But you know, with this card and Yamato on the field, it's it's pretty mean and it's pretty fun because you just get that field advantage because your opponent can't get more than you. So, great card. Highly recommend it. Bujin Reincarnation. This card is a lifesaver a lot of the time, especially if your opponent does manage to get you to use up your stuff and get rid of your field. You can activate this, you know, get a banished monster, Bujin monster, and then 1 in your graveyard, bring them right back to the field.
And you always target that with, what do you call it? When I tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
You always banish hair on tiramisu.
Yep, always do that. Yeah, because even if you know that Yamato's going to get bounced back, just banish something to target them so you can get something in the banish zone, so you can use this. I mean, I've done that a few times where there's nothing I can do, but I know I have this in hand, so I'll just banish something just so I can use Bujification, get it on the field, get the banished monster and the graveyard monster back in the field, Xyz or whatever to decide to do with it. So it really comes in handy. 2 MSTs. Could run them at 3. I don't know, just personal choice to run it at 2. Because a lot of the time I don't know. I usually save them for tankies and stuff like that, but I mean, it's up to you. 1 Lance. I did have it at 2, but I decided to put it down to 1 because I'm going to run a Dress too. But Lance comes in handy. Same with Dress. I find that Dress comes in handy because of monster effects. There's a lot of times I've noticed, especially with this new format, there's a lot of monsters effect that destroy that I've run into at my regionals and stuff.
Fire hands.
Fire hands, yes, exactly, like fire hands. That is a very good example. This comes in handy because Lance doesn't protect from that, but like especially if you used up all your turtles or hares, this comes in handy. So let's see. Cards are all pushed to the top. 2 pots, because you need that draw power to get what you need. So it's kind of typical. I mean, I've seen players run upstart, which is good, but I feel like
gross. It's bad in that deck.
Yeah, it's bad for that deck.
It's all about control.
It is, but a lot of them are running like it's like a fast version of Bujin's, which I don't know. I don't really think that it kind of goes against the deck, but I mean, it works, I suppose. 1 Foolish, gets stuff in the graveyard, and then a Dark Hole just in case your opponent just gets everything out on the field before you can. And then just to stop more monsters effects, I have 2 Breakthrough Skills. Oops. Just to stop, monsters effects and whatnot like that. 1 Blackhorn. 1 Bottomless. Pinpoint Guard. I just put this in. I'm giving it a try. It's pretty nice just because, if they do get rid of your model or Mikazuchi or something, it allows you to bring them back so you can go into stuff next turn. I don't know. I might take this out to put in another Hirmu, but, still trying to figure that out. And then 1 Solemn. So that's all for the traps. For the side deck, or extra deck, what I should call it. 2 Saswano. I mean, this is the big monster you want for the Bujin Xyz monsters because it attacks everything at once, and you can Xyz or grab stuff, add it to your hand, or send it to the graveyard with his effects. So you can tax all the monsters at least once, which is really nice. Works really good for the Bujin OTK version with Black Rose Garden. So I won Mikazuchi just for that set. Kagasuchi, yes, thank you. I always get them wrong. Well, because it kind of is like an upgraded version of Mikazuchi. So Kagasuchi, just for that, extra protection, saving stuff. 1 of Aramitersu. I don't even think I pronounced that right. And then 1 Teskamayu. I don't know. I don't really go into them very often.
Tsukiyomi.
Tsukiyomi, yeah. These two I don't go into very often, but once in a while it comes in handy. Tiger King, get that search off for tanky and whatnot, so that comes in handy, especially negate other monsters' abilities. Arc, kind of standard. Ragnarok, just for those, well, mirror matches and other monsters that, you know.
Medolches.
Medolches. Yes, good against Medolches. And even the occasional Fire Fist and Bujins because of the tanky, so comes in handy, get that draw power and destroy. Black Ship. Diamond Direwolf. I'm going to switch them out for something else. I'm trying to decide what I want to do, but I don't go into them, like, ever, so. Stellar Omega. Comes in handy once in a while. I haven't done it too much.
Rhapsody and Berserk.
Yeah, Rhapsody and Berserk. You know, actually, I don't think I've ever gone into him, but it's nice knowing that I have the ability to banish stuff from the graveyard for, like, against Sylvans or Medolce if they... No, not Medolce. What am I thinking of? I can't remember the one I'm thinking of.
Anything that uses Soul Charge.
Yeah, Soul Charge, that's the one. Anything that uses Soul Charge that, you know, I know they're going to use, I can banish them, get them out of the way. Cowboy, gotta have Cowboy. Gemini Pearl, just for that fun little beater in there. I don't really need them, but I like the shiny card. And then Stardust Dragon, only because of this format, because Lightsworm are so big. That's the only reason. Because in my, I'll get to that later from my side deck, but I just put them right into the extra deck, because I didn't have room for my side deck. Tiger King, or not Tiger, wow, I'm tired. Thunder King. Thunder King, yes. Just a good stall card, stops your opponent from adding stuff to the hand, and you know that's what Bujins are all about, stalling and controlling the field. Additional Turtle, like I said earlier, just before those decks that are very heavily on targeting and whatnot, comes in handy. 2 Mind Crush, good against, you know, Bujin mirror matches.
Well, you got
Lights
ultra
on.
rares?
I got 1 Ultra and 1 Common.
I want that ultra.
No, mine. Mirror matches, and then Light Swarm, as well as Sylvan, but mostly against Light Swarm and mirror matches with Bujins. And then the Starlight Road for the Stardust Dragon that's in my extra deck.
Let me check your message.
For Light Swarm, just because, you know, Judgment Dragon's just such a OP card. But it is a good deck, but that comes in handy for sure. Mirror Force, big burn. If you don't know about this card, this is a really great card, especially against Soul Charge. What? Or Sylvans, yes. Anything that brings back stuff from the graveyard, this, you chain this, banishes everything in the graveyard of both players. So gives no targets for Soul Charge or Sylvan. So amazing card. Just check it out. Dimensional, just for those things that are a little trickier to get over. Which, I mean, Bujins, they don't really have a hard time, but once in a while I run into them. Torrential for Medolches, because they just love to spam that field. You know, if you get Kaiser out and they manage to get rid of it.
Phoenix Wing.
Phoenix Wing. Yeah, there's that too.
That's why I'm maining it.
But that comes in handy. Mind Haxors, I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Really good against hat decks, because you can basically look at what they have set, so you know what not to pop or what to pop, because, you know, it reveals everything. So it comes in handy. I have yet to use it because I haven't really gotten through at any regionals or tournaments, so I haven't run into any hat decks, which is kind of surprising since that's what everyone was playing, or so many people. Mind Control, one of those, just for the mirror matches. Take control. Dark Core, 2 of them, banishing stuff. And then 2 Soul Releases, just for banishing those stuff in the graveyard, like for Soul Charge and Sylvans. Especially Sylvans, this is a great card against Sylvans, just because it gets rid of all the stuff that they need.
It's faster than Big Burn, too.
And it's faster than Big Burn, too. Yes, it is. So, it's a really good card. Look into it if you haven't heard of it. It's an old card, too. I remember when Sylvans first started coming out, you know, people were playing it. I remember this card, and I was like, holy crap, there's this old card I remember of. And I started playing it, and I played a guy who was playing Sylvans, and I used it so many times against him. And it was just, he got so salty, because he couldn't do anything, because all his stuff was banished. So, but yeah, that's my deck pile for Bujins.